How do we outsmart a narcissist, handle ourselves around a narcissist, deal with those narcissistic people in our lives? And when we don't know who they are, what they are about, what they are doing, it can be very difficult, very frustrating, very emotionally triggering. Once we are aware, we can start to learn about who they are as a person and be able to manage ourselves around them as a person. If you cannot go no contact. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and welcome back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you recover from narcissistic abuse. So when it comes to narcissistic people, the best approach is always no contact. You do not need people in your life that are willing to exploit you, willing to hurt you, lack the empathy to care for you, and find ways to smear your name and destroy you any way they can. Those kinds of people you do not need in your life. And yes, we can feel extremely guilty walking away from them. There is some videos about guilt which I shall link up here and add into the description. The worst part about going no contact, or the worst part about going limited contact, is removing those feelings of guilt. Working through those, knowing your reason why, understanding that the narcissist is not going to change. As much as we would like people to change, it is not our job to change people. That is on them. And if they've proven to you time and time again that they are willing to let you down, hurt you, and they keep coming back with those false promises of change and needing your help, those guilt trips, those pity plays to get you to come back and help them, this is a time when we need to step away and say, if you want to change, go and change, but I can't help you anymore, because you have to be able to help yourself in life. We always have to be able to help ourselves. It's okay to have support from other people, but that's it. It's just being supportive. And those with NPD, they do need specialised help. They still haven't worked out a way to fully help one. There is plenty of people trying to work on this, but until it happens, you personally are not going to be able to help them. And yes, most people want to be the one that can help them, want to be the one that can help them see what they're doing, but it's often to our own detriment when we try to help someone who is only ever willing to help themselves and doesn't actually care for you as a person. So how do you handle yourself around those if you cannot go no contact? The second rule is limited contact. Limit your time around them so that you can clear your mind, so that you can see who they actually are and what's actually happening, and learn who you are as a person when they're not in your face with their invalidating, criticizing words. Seek therapy and support if you need therapy and support to help you get on a level playing field with them, not to manipulate them, not to hurt them, where they mirror us to sell us our ideal, to sell us our dreams, to manipulate us, to exploit us, to meet their own need. We need to learn about them so that we can understand exactly what we are dealing with. So when we do have to spend time around them and they are coming at us with things like projection, blame shifting, word salad, triangulation, invalidation, devaluation, we can actually recognise what they're doing and no longer play straight into their hands by giving them the reactions that they want from us. They are often trying to get us going so that they can twist it onto us and blame us in some way. The next thing is boundaries. learning your beliefs, learning your values, learning the behaviour you will and will not accept from somebody. And everybody's boundaries are individual to that individual person. So learning your boundaries for who you are as a person. And one of the best ways is, how would you treat other people? Only allow people to treat you like that in the return. And also treat yourself how you treat other people. How you would not treat other people. No longer allow people to treat you in this way. We don't have to explain ourselves to everybody. Yes, it's polite, and if you want to explain once, but recognise this. Your explanation isn't going to change somebody who doesn't want to listen or understand your explanation. If someone was to explain to you, if you've accidentally hurt somebody and someone was to explain it to you, you'd most likely take their opinion on board and then not do it again. When you've explained yourself to someone once and they've done it again, they've shown you who they are, there is no need to explain yourself to them again. And the more we explain ourselves to a narcissist, the more we defend ourselves to a narcissist, the more they will pick the parts of that explanation and our defences to use against us, to bring us down, to wind us up. We are like a little jack in the box to them. We're happily plodding along life, trying to get on with people, trying to understand everybody, trying to make life easy, because life, it does get hard at times without having people making life hard for you. So we can just be plodding along nicely and they will be there winding us up, winding us up, winding us up until we jump out. And then when we jump out, they all of a sudden go, "Oh, are you okay? I think you might need some help. Have you gone crazy?" And they then use all our reactions against us because they are unwilling to accept responsibility. They almost have like a invisible shield around them where anything they do, they just project straight back out onto, "Oh, did I do that? No, I didn't. That's your fault. That's your fault. That's your fault." They are not going to accept accountability. Trying to explain to them the things they've done does not work. Often with a narcissist, it's about managing our own expectations. When it comes to manipulative people, they will go all out to raise our expectations, to dash them at each and every turn. And at the same time, they lower our standards of behaviour that we will accept from them. And at this point, we have to try and rebalance the scale. We have to learn who they are so that we can lower our expectations of their understanding of things like empathy, their understanding of how they may have hurt somebody in some way, their understanding of being able to take on board our thoughts, feelings, or opinions. We have to lower our expectations of how we believe they could treat somebody. Yes, they will have raised our expectations because at some point they will have treated us better than anyone ever has. So we believe that's who they are as a person. They lead us into that false belief, that false ideal of who they are. So we have to start to recognise their pattern of behaviour and who they are as a person. And through our boundaries, through our values, we have to raise our standards of behaviour that we will no longer accept from those around us. Once we've managed our own expectations of their understanding and their communication skills, learnt how they do actually communicate so that they no longer bring us down, is things like limited contact and grey rock. So don't ask them anything about their lives. Narcissistic people are all about gaining that excessive admiration from other people. The less you give them that admiration, yes, many will up their games. They often rule through love or through fear. So they love bomb people to get that admiration. They devalue people so that they feel above other people, and they smear people's names. They discard people. They get people chasing after them to get that admiration. So in one way, by you chasing them to try and explain your point of view, to try and explain what they have done wrong, not only are they taking it as a criticism to who they believe they are as a person, so they're going to instantly get those feelings of anger and fight against you, but they are also lapping up the attention, especially when they get you going. When you try to explain to a narcissist who doesn't want to believe they do anything wrong, who imagines themselves to be perfect, when you try to explain to them where they might have done something that wasn't in someone else's best interest and they don't want to admit to this, they are going to get a reaction out of you so that they can feel better about themselves, because they do not want to take ownership of their own behaviour. And the difference is you do take ownership of your own behaviour. Often why these kinds of people do take advantage, because even when it's not your own behaviour, they gaslight you into believing it was your behaviour when it wasn't. So learning about that gaslighting and the different techniques the individual narcissist you are up against uses to gaslight you. Recognise it, start writing down your reality. So when it comes to grey rock, it's things like being as boring as possible. Narcissistic people are extremely envious, and you'll probably know, if you've spent a lot of time around them, what makes your narcissist tick. And if you haven't, it's time to learn. So if they're the kind of person that are into the top holidays, the homes, the cars, the careers, the family, the clothing, whatever it is to that narcissist, if you recognise when they've spoken about another, when they've pulled somebody else down over something, that is often what that narcissist wants. So you don't want to give them any information at all that you are possibly doing these kinds of things, because the narcissist is then going to be envious. They are either going to come for the hoover so that they can tag along to you for the ride. They want to do it the quickest way possible, so they're going to hook on to you because they think, oh, they're doing something I'd really like, so I'll just grab on for a little bit, enjoy the ride, see what this is like. Oh, they've got something better. Do you know what? I'm not bothered about you anymore. I will go over here to the next. That is what they're like. They are envious. So you don't want them thinking you've got something that they might want, because they will either try to hook onto you, or if they cannot hook onto you, they will try to destroy whatever they are envious of in order to feel better about themselves. So do not tell them anything about yourself. Same goes for flying monkeys and enablers. Cut those people out, especially if it's their family and friends. Cut those people out. Don't give them any information, and don't ask about them. Yes, it can be very, very difficult, because we have a thing called object consistency. So when we care about other people, as well as having empathy, when we care about other people, even when there is disagreements or conflict, we can still care about their feelings. So we want to be able to explain things to them and gain that understanding. With a narcissist, they lack that object consistency. So they're not interested in listening to where we're coming from. If there is conflict or a disagreement, they have stopped caring, and they will go all out to hurt us to feel better about themselves. It's who they are as a person. We have to respect who they are as a person and understand they are never going to respect who we are as a person. What they will listen to is our silence. Yes, they might up their games, but they also don't want their ego or their pride being hurt too much. So the more we fall silent on them, and it's not to manipulate them. With a narcissist, they fall silent on us because they want to break down one of our boundaries or they want to punish us in some way. We are falling silent on them because it's the end of the road for that relationship, whether it's a parent, a friend, a boss, a partner. It's the end of that road of the relationship. We are not falling silent to teach them anything. We are just going on about our lives and letting them carry on with their lives. You have got to become as boring as you possibly can around them. It can be difficult because normal human emotions, when someone has taken a lot from you or hurt you a lot, sometimes people, human nature, can want to go, look at how well I'm doing without you. And it is a normal response that many people do feel. With a narcissist, they will take you down. They will take you down. It will be short-lived. So we have to stay humble within our own lives and leave them to live their own lives. When we do have to communicate with them, again, it's recognising their behaviour. And then if you feel cornered, it's that retreat, rethink, and only ever respond if you need to do so. A narcissist is all about getting that attention, so not giving them the attention, cutting off their supply. As awful as it is, they move on to someone who will feed them what they want. It's if you're going to eat salt and it's going to give you high blood pressure, you're going to stop eating that salt. You're going to find a way to stop eating that salt. When it comes to a narcissist, the stress they cause raises your cortisol levels, which can raise things like blood pressure, which can cause no end of health problems. And the way to reclaim our health is by going no contact or limited contact with the narcissist. Physical health as well as mental health and emotional health. So another thing we need to do is grab hold of our emotions, learn our triggers, recognise our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities, to no longer allow them to use those things against us. And yes, it's very difficult when they're using things like children. It's extremely difficult because they'll have fed you a story of the kind of parent they're going to be, and sometimes they may have been that parent, so we can sell ourselves the story that they are a good parent. And when we recognise they're not, but we want the best for our children, so we try to give them chance, and they just take each chance away. It is heartbreaking, it is difficult. We have to recognise that they're not in it for the children, they're in it for themselves. So trying to get them to participate in the children's events and things like that when they don't want to, that's up in them. The thing we can do is be there for our children and leave the other parent to it. Yes, you can have those narcissists that will try and butt into anything and everything they possibly can. And if it's not negatively impacting the child, we do have to grin and bear it as long as the child is okay. With some narcissists, depending where they are on the spectrum, you can in one way lead them to believe they're getting their own way, although often you do have to be very strong to deal with this because they will try and find a way to get at you at some point. With a narcissist, it's never enough. They always want more. So you have to stop giving too much. You have to stop compromising with those who are unwilling to compromise with you, because they can lead you up the garden path that they are going to meet you halfway and resolve some form of issue with one hand, but they will have another trick playing away here just to frustrate you afterwards, so that you wish you hadn't agreed to something because they don't hold up their end of the bargain. So don't give to those who only take. Remember, life is about give and take. It's okay to give to those who are willing to give to you. It's okay to let people take from you if they let you take from them, and you've got that mutual understanding. If somebody is only ever willing to take from you and not willing to give, we have to learn to stop giving. We have to set our limits. And we have to guard our emotions with our life. We have to become emotionally unpredictable to those who know how to use our emotions against us. It's a case of those emotions that they used to be able to trigger have to become no longer available to that person. Recognizing the game they are trying to play, recognizing the emotion they are trying to pull, whether they are trying to cause us pain, whether they're trying to make us sad, whether they're trying to make us angry, whether they are trying to hurt us, whether they're trying to lull us into a false sense of security, whether they're trying to make us jealous, whether they're trying to make us insecure, whatever emotion they are trying to chip away at, recognize the emotion they are trying to chip away at and no longer give them anything. Sometimes, once you are safely away from them, you might have to scream it out, shout it out, go and find some boxing classes or something to get it out of your system. There's no point in bottling it up. You have got to get it out of your system. Just never ever give the narcissist the satisfaction. So how do you handle yourself or outsmart a narcissist? Boundaries are an absolute must. Lowering your expectations of their ability to care or think about other people. Raising your standards of behaviour that you will accept from other people. Emotionally, be on guard and protect your emotions like your life depends on them through things like grey rock. Limited contact, and if possible, no contact. If anyone has any tips on what helped them to handle themselves around a narcissistic person, please do drop that into the comments, as you never know who's reading it, that it might help. I shall add into the description the video on limiting beliefs, the video on how to handle our emotions and learn what our emotions are teaching us, the video on boundaries, and the video on grey rock, as they'll all go into more detail of what I've explained within this video. I shall also add the online courses, which just give a step-to-step guide of more information about what you might be dealing with. There is one that is all about the narcissist personality disorder. So today, start learning about who you are as a person, the things you want out of life, the things that you believe in, the things that you value, and get busy creating that life that you do deserve for you. Yes, life gets hard. We can be running along nicely and life can come and knock us off balance, but look at the times you've got up and gone again. We can always get up and go again. It's a moment in time. It's a moment in time, and as painful as those moments can be, to teach us something so that we can move forward and find who we want to be. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope everyone has a brilliant day. Bye.